Also, if you want us to read your ads on our show, send them to us. We will read those ads.
We can read.
For a price.
For money.
Or for a car or something. Or whatever.
Or food.
Yeah, food. You know what? Food is probably the number one.
Food. We'll read
you want us
food.
to read your ad, we will read for food. A
Yes.
lifetime supply of whatever the fuck you want us to read.
Yes. Lifetime supply? Yes.
We will do that.
Read anything.
Yep. Send it to us. Our email.
Go it.
What's our email? JAYAND22
22 at
JAYANDDAVE22 at gmail.com. Hook it up.
Hook it up.
So we left off last segment
Eating.
with was it Andrew? It was somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Or MMM or whatever. Somebody posted the most underrated wrestler of all time.
Coco Beware.
Yeah, that's Coco Beware. Like, see, if you go way back,
George Animal Steel.
there's like Tito Santana.
Oh, yeah.
But Tito Santana's like, I think he's not. I don't even think he's underrated because he was huge back then, right? He was the Intercontinental Champion for like ever.
Yeah, but still,
he had great matches with Macho Man and like
he was underrated.
Underrated, like maybe I don't know. Like,
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect was, but Mr. Perfect was huge too, man. Those are not underrated characters. Those are characters that got pushed. They had whole like little segments about like all of his perfect stuff where he threw the football and caught it.
Oh, that's my favorite one. That's
And
my favorite one.
Like he did everything.
And he didn't even run fast.
And he threw the football and then he looked back at the cam after he threw it. And then he started running.
Yeah.
And then they played the music. They played the music as it's going through the air, and he's just running, looking at it. And then he caught it,
yeah,
like fucking 80 yards down the field. He threw it. Had time to look back at the camera. Yo, those were such good fucking segments. Those guys are not underrated. Those guys got their time.
Virgil.
Virgil. Fucking
Bodyguard.
You know, maybe a little underrated. Maybe Rey Mysterio.
No, he's a pretty big guy.
He got pretty big. Yeah,
he got pretty big.
I have a Rey Mysterio mask.
You know,
so I guess he can't be underrated.
Sting.
Sting was. It's funny because Sting had his time, and then he became that like Crow. Sting. Remember when the Crow movie came out? Then he became Crow. He was all white.
I think
and he
when
just be up in the stands.
WWE, he wasn't really that.
Yeah, it wasn't that big anymore. And
no,
he was big. He was big when he almost had like the Ultimate Warrior face paint. Remember when he was like colorful and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
He was huge during that time.
Yeah.
There's like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. He was a good bad guy.
He was a good bad guy. He's underrated too.
Big John Studd. Remember all them boys?
Oh yeah. Big John Studd. Yes, I remember him.
I don't even know who you'd count underrated because anybody who has
The Miz.
I don't know. The Miz is huge
I know.
too. The Miz, and he has like a huge social media thing. We're just naming off a bunch of good wrestlers.
The British Bulldogs.
Oh, the British Bulldogs.
They were underrated.
I think that's a good one. That's a really good one. They were in that like they were constantly in that tag team mix. They won the championship a couple times, but
then
but they used them. Yeah, they used them to
one guy
to put people over or use them to make bad guys go over.
The one guy always did solos. The one of the British Bulldogs always.
Davey Boy Smith.
Davey Boy.
Yeah, he went off on
underrated.
Yeah, Davey Boy Smith.
He was a good fighter.
The Dynamite Kid was the other one.
Yes.
That
I'm trying to think of like.
I don't know who was underrated.
I'm trying to think of
like who should have basically got more promotion, but
yes, that's what I'm trying to.
I mean, I don't know if I know.
British Bulldog is a good one.
The British Bulldogs is a good one
because I feel they were popular, but they weren't really.
Yeah, they're just on the cusp, and if they got a bigger push, they might have been. That was a golden age of tag teams too, right? These tag teams were together, and they were tag teams forever.
Yeah, you're talking about like
like
the Bushwhackers
and the Heart Foundation,
Demolition, the Killer Bees,
like
what's his name?
This guy.
You know Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Marty Jannetty. Yeah,
Marty Jannetty. When
the Rockers.
The Rockers.
Yeah, they're the Rockers.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
The Rockers.
But then Shawn Michaels really took off after he kicked Buddy through the fucking window. Or super kicked him, Marty Jannetty, and then he threw him through the barbershop window.
Brutus the
Barber Beefcake. Yeah. Yo, Brutus the Barber Beefcake had one of the best songs, man. When that song comes on, choo choo, and the noise,
yes,
and it just came out. Yo, that song had me. I wonder if I could just play that real quick. I know there's all kind of copyright thing, but yo, that song, the Brutus the Barber Beefcake entrance song, I loved it. It was like funky, like
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else was underrated. Underrated. Coco Beware.
Brutus.
Junkyard Dog.
Yeah, these guys are Barber.
George Animal Steel. No, those are big guys.
Beefcake. This guy's name was Beefcake. Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
What a great name.
Yeah. This is the theme. I love this theme song. It's just, to me, it's just funky. Like, oh, there's that's the double.
Why does it sound like Night Court?
Yeah. I love this way coming down. It's just like funky and then.
This sounds like Night Court, kind of.
No, I love that song. Shout out Brutus the Barber Beefcake. That's my guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, I wouldn't say he was underrated, but he was because he had his whole show and everything too.
He got
right?
hurt though, right? So
Yeah.
after he got hurt, I don't think he could wrestle
He had like
because he had
the
his
barber
show,
shop.
the
Like,
barber shop.
yeah, after he got injured, he did a lot more of like interviewing
Yeah.
in like the barber shop and stuff. That's what it wasn't in the barber shop where. No, it was Piper's Pit, where Andre the Giant turned on Hulk Hogan. Remember that? Ripped off his chain. And then everybody was so heartbroken. I mean, I was heartbroken. I was a kid. I was heartbroken that Andre turned on Hulk Hogan.
because
You know?
he thought it was real.
Yeah, I thought it was real. Yo, just
Spoiler alert:
yeah.
wrestling is staged. Message.
I never knew.
Well, now you know.
Narrative.
Narrative.
Message. I still like message. Message is good.
Yeah.
Message. Just recently, like not even in the last couple of weeks, Noelle and I, my daughter and I, started sitting down and watching wrestling together because for a long time, her mother was like, I don't know if I want her watching that stuff. I don't know, whatever, you know. But
Yeah.
now she's bigger and she's watching more live action stuff and whatever.
Right.
And there's kids in her jiu-jitsu that watch it, you know.
Okay.
So I'm just like, you know
that's
what?
what it is.
I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we're gonna watch it. And, yo, we put it on. And my girl sits down there and she's watching and she's like, oh my god, and they're jumping up and down and it's like, it's cool because it's that kid mentality of watching it and sort of thinking like it's kind of real,
But it's not.
you know. And I do tell her, I did tell her like, you know, it's still like it's like people do get hurt. People are getting chopped with the woo chops and stuff. They are getting chopped and stuff, but they're not when they're there just punching on a guy. They're not. I go. Those are not real punches.
Yeah, because
you know, because we watch UFC a little bit too because of my daughter does martial arts.
right.
So we watch a lot of UFC for her to learn or like take away certain things out of the jiu-jitsu stuff that's happening, right?
Right.
So she gets to see like, and when they're fighting for real. So when there's punches and stuff, so she's looking at this now. All of a sudden, she didn't. It's
like,
funny. I never let her watch wrestling, but we're watching UFC
4 times in the head. There's no blood.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that I kind of didn't. We didn't watch wrestling, but she would sit and watch UFC with me.
Yeah.
Kind of backwards, I guess. Like I probably should have done it the other way around. Let her get some fun with that. But there was more jiu-jitsu in the actual UFC.
Yeah.
And that's what I show her. I don't show her. We don't sit and watch full matches.
Yes.
I pick parts out of a match where
Yes.
there's a lot of grappling and stuff happening. You know? And then I try to like...
In her field of extracurricular,
Yeah.
it fits.
It fits.
Right.
But then mid, like I'm showing her the grappling, all of a sudden a guy gets a mount and just starts dropping like elbows on the guy. And then I'm like, okay, off. Okay, gotta turn that part off. And she's like, was that guy just elbowing that guy in the face? I was like, yes. Yes, he was.
When his head
I was like, you're not allowed to do that. You know, in your jiu-jitsu, you're only allowed to grapple and use the gi, and you can choke and you can armbar and stuff like
You
that.
just tell her, listen, when you get older and the boys start to be fresh,
yeah.
that's what daddy does.
Yeah. Full mount. Pure bows on their forehead, right between the eye, right there.
You know?
Break the nose bridge.
Who is the guy who would do the hammer? There's a guy that would do the fucking...
Greg the Hammer Valentine. Was it Greg? You're talking about wrestling?
Yeah, someone would do
The Hammer. That's Greg the Hammer Valentine. He'd do the hammer.
Now, if that happened in real life,
yeah.
I don't think you're waking up.
No.
you might see stars and blackout.
Yeah. which somebody apparently did. But anyway, whatever. We won't get into that.
Yeah, no.
Thank you guys for the like, Andrew. Thank you for the likes. Underrated wrestlers are hard to say because I don't know because they do try to give people the promotions that they do. Like there was a time when
CM Punk.
oh, he's huge. He's not underrated. He's absolutely huge. But
I
there was a time when NXT was better than wrestling,
Right.
and like they had guys like Finn Balor.
Okay.
And there's another guy named I can't remember his name, but he had the best entrance. I can't remember his name. I'll show it to you after. I'll tell you who it was so you can see him right here. To me, he had one of the best entrances ever. Like this thing came up, he had a huge robe, kind of like a Macho Man robe.
Yeah.
And it was just, oh fuck, he was started off on NXT. Oh fuck, I'm not gonna remember his name right now because again, those guys to me stayed kind of underrated because when they came up to the big show, like when they came up to the like WWE Raw and SmackDown and stuff, they didn't get the push that I felt like they could have. They were such big stars down in NXT, which is like the minor leagues.
Yeah, but you gotta think about it. It's a smaller market.
Yeah.
And then you get up in the big leagues. You already have guys who are the
big time.
time. So for them to come up and steal their spotlight, you gotta be special.
Yeah, and you gotta like earn it. You gotta earn your way into getting those things. And at that time was just the time when Vince McMahon was kind of fucking everything up.
No.
You know?
Before
Bobby Roode, that's the guy. Yeah. You know, who likes that bad idea, I think it says. I can't see it. Who likes that bad idea? Whatever, anyhow. I think his name was Bobby Roode. He had the big fucking entrance and he'd come on, his music was awesome and the crowd would sing and stuff like that. And I'm leading into, that was the time Vince McMahon started to kind of fuck up everything and he for some reason Vince McMahon didn't like the crowd singing. Like when guys,
why? So
there was an Asian guy who used to come down to this like kind of like violin music or whatever, but the whole crowd would sing oh. They would just sing along with the violin music and the whole crowd was singing and it was fucking amazing. And then for some reason Vince McMahon took away his music and they changed up his music and didn't let him come down with it.
Why?
I don't know. Vince McMahon went through this thing where he just didn't like it. This is recent too. This is when all of them were coming up, you know? And there was like a tag team with oh my god, there was a guy named Kaz, a 7-foot guy named Kaz.
Oh,
and like,
yeah.
And the other dude who came out, and the other dude was a dude on the mic, short guy, pure trash talker.
Yeah.
Pure trash talker, and they were amazing. They in NXT, they did the best backstage stuff. They were always back there talking some shit, you know. And he'd come out and he'd say, you know, and he's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. You know, and the whole crowd would say, "You can't teach that," and you know, and then they would, because they called it. They were like, their premise was like they were like Jersey Shore kind of guys, you know. So but it was such amazing characters, you know. They would call it people soft, SAWFT, soft, you know. And they would just say, you know, they would the end of their promo, they're in the ring, and they would say, you know, and if you whatever you're SAWFT. And the whole crowd would be saying it. And then they put the mic up and the whole crowd goes, soft. They'd spell it. SAWFT. So yo, it was fucking amazing. It was almost like DX. You know, when they came when the guy come down and the Road Dogg.
I'm the Road Dogg.
Road Dogg Jesse James. The badass Billy Gunn. The new Outlaws. Yeah. You know, and then he's like, and if you're not down with that, we got two words for you. Suck it. Then the whole crowd would say it.
Yes.
These two guys I'm talking about could have been that big.
Right.
You know? But I think also the little guy fucked up, ended up getting some sort of sexual assault sort of charge on him, so they had to fire him. It proved not to be anything. Like it proved like I think the girl had tried it with like, I don't know, 5 different people or something like that. So it turned out not to be nothing, and he was like vexed at WWE for not sort of sticking by him and whatever.
Backing him, yeah.
I think he snuck into a thing, like he bought a ticket, put on like a hat and did all that stuff. He was fired, and he got into the crowd, and he was like up in the front row area, and in the middle of some match, he stood up and took off his thing, and he's standing on his chair, and he got the whole crowd to say his saying. You know, and then they had to come and escort him out. He was already fired. He wasn't supposed to be there, but and Vince McMahon was, I heard, pissed that he got into the arena and took over the show for that like little piece of the show.
Right.
He got in and had the whole crowd say his whole saying that he does.
That's awesome.
Yo, it was pretty cool, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yo, Buddy Guy. Merry Christmas, Buddy Guy.
Merry Christmas.
That's our guy. Yo, we just mentioned your name before we started recording. He says it's been a long time since we saw our boy Buddy Guy. You know? Anyhow, that little time of NXT produced like 7 or 8 legit fucking stars.
Yeah.
That could have been, but again, like you said, they came up to the big show and they weren't able to get their big promotion because there's big guys like Randy Orton and whoever that are already,
RKO.
Yeah, already the big superstars that you can't. You know, what I thought they should do is give them the beginning of the show. The show's almost 3 hours. The first hour and a half, make it all about these young NXT guys, and then go into the big storylines for the end of the show.
I always thought that the 2 different shows would complement that.
Yeah.
Whereas Monday Night Raw, and then what was the other one?
SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown.
So you would have either whoever on one of these shows, but they never really did it that way.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to, like, you had I think the SmackDown belt and
they
the
had
Monday
different
Night
belts.
belt,
Yeah.
right? And then you had like the whole where they had the draft and you were going to this.
Yeah, did all that.
I get they kind of tried, but they should have,
I
gave
think
these guys a little bit more, like a window. They should have had their own little space, like half hour.
Yeah, give them the first hour, first hour of a 3-hour show.
There you go.
Just pump some of the young guys, see how popular they're getting, and if you're making a lot of money off of these guys and stuff like that, you move them to the second hour.
Yeah.
And then, they earn their way in the second hour, and then if they earn their way to the last hour, like wrestling's about making the money.
Well, yeah.
So if these guys are the ones making the money, sometimes the thing is the big ego guys are just like,
yeah, but if you have a big ego,
my spot.
But if you have a big ego and this young guy is more popular than you,
yeah,
come on, man, it's for the show.
Yeah, it's for the business. It's all for the good of the business.
Yeah.
But, these guys are all trying to get paid too and whatever, so they want to stay on the last hour.
No, man, you gotta like spread the wealth and make sure that the whole show is running well, not just your hour segment or half-hour segment.
Yeah.
The whole 3 hours, guy.
That's Jay. I'm Dave. Somebody asked which one's Jay and which one's Dave.
The good-looking one is Jay.
The ugly one is Jay. That ugly one right there.